My grandmother had the video decided to cut right there. Okay. I don't know if it just cut off what I just said, but anyways, I was saying, I don't remember if I talked about this, but when we were in the basement playing card games, right? Because I don't know if I told you guys the whole entirety of the story. I can't remember if it was when my grandfather died or my grandmother died, but we're in the basement playing cards, right? Dementia runs on my grandmother's side, according to them. I don't know if that's true, okay? So we're in the basement playing cards, and we're like, you know those like games we used to play when we were kids. I mean, you're supposed to you have all the cards face down, and then you have to match them to each other. So we used to be able to do that really well when we were kids, right? So I don't remember how it came up. Somebody brought up dementia, and they're like, let's see if we can do this now that we're old, right? I remember Tonesy was there and Bri was there with me, right? um, So as we're playing the game, me and Brian are laughing our heads off because we're like, when did we get so bad at this? And Tonesy's like nailing it. And I remember we were laughing so hard, we're like, oh god, we got dementia. So when I was watching this video, I'm like, she brought up that word and it instantly reminded me of that time because I remember that happened. I think she was talking about something like, how do you test dementia now, right? For us, it's those memory card games. You know, like you'd face down all the cards and you're like, okay, match like 2 2s or 3 3s, like, but it was so bad to the point where like imagine I'm looking for a 3, you found the 3 the last round, but I can't remember where you found it, right? It got really bad. So we were laughing because we're like, oh my fucking god, we're gonna be so fucked when we're older. So if you're asking how do you test dementia now, I'm like, that's a really good way of doing it. Then she's playing Retro Rewind and she finally adjusted the shelves, which was great. Oh, then she was talking about wine. Okay. Back when I had chem in grade 11, we went to a winery. I can't remember if I hated that teacher or not, because I remember one of my science courses, the teacher fucked me over. Then I had summer school and all that other shit. Speaking of summer school, Toadsie told me he finished physics with an 83. And I was like, whoa, because he's really competitive, right? I don't know if he's smarter than me or than Bri, right? Because I never took physics. So I'm like, he can't compete with me, right? Because I'm like, obviously, I wouldn't know. So I'm like, I don't know if Bri got a higher score than him because Bri's the only one that took physics. So I'm like, I told him to get back to me and let me know if he did better than Bri or not because Tozie's really competitive. And I'm like, 83. I'm like, holy shit. For those of you that don't understand the grading system for us, it's in numbers. So like 80s, 90s is an A. 70s is B. 60s is C. 50s are D. Anything below 50, you're fucked. Yeah, so he told me he got an 83, and I was like, damn. You only take summer school, I think, if you fail the course. So if he went from like a 49 to an 83, I was like, holy fuck. Anyways, going back to getting off the tangent, because that's what he was telling me. He's like, summer school's done. Yeah, we had a chem trip to the winery because his teacher wanted to, I don't think she wanted to be a teacher, right? She's just like, I just want to day drink, right? So we ended up going to a vineyard, but we were underage, right? We couldn't drink, so they only gave us grape juice. But they said Canadian vineyards are known for ice wine, right? But I never got to try. That's what I was gonna ask you. I'm like, when she's showing her notes, I'm like, you have everything listed there about ice wine. I'm like, isn't that what we're known for? Aren't you supposed to look into that? I also didn't know about what the orange wine. I was like, that's interesting. Anyways, I went there for a chem trip because we were doing titration at the time, and I'm like, you need the percentages and all that stuff when you're working with wine. Anyways, if you do a wine slushy, I want to watch, okay? I also watched the popcorn, like Ben's popcorn video, and I was like, oh my gosh. They make bag, he missed out bag popcorn now. Like, how do I explain this? So you have movie theater, like the homemade one in the machine. He's got the microwave one, but there's also bagged popcorn, you know, like in chip bag type form where you eat that popcorn. He didn't test that one. Ugh. I can't remember the point I was trying to make here now. uh, something about thesis writing and bots. Uh, I'm so glad we lived in a time before AI because no one could say, right? No one could put our intelligence into question now, right? Uh, wait, Christine, if you have your thesis on hand, can I read it? Can I have a signed copy? When I was going for uni, because I said I was gonna go down Ottawa side, I had an acceptance letter for Ottawa, Carleton, but your scholarship wasn't there for Carleton yet, and I had for back down near the house. And I'm like, since I'm getting more money and I don't have to waste money commuting back and forth, I stayed home, right? But I was aiming to get into Carleton and I got in, but I'm like pointless. And then I found out you had that scholarship and everything. I don't know what would have happened if I had went all the way there. Cause my dead friend is the only other one who would have gone that direction with me. So I don't know. Like when I think back, I'm like, if things would have gone differently that way, right? But anyways, I want to read the thesis. If you have it, I want to read it because to like I hated writing. Because at some point in the video, she said she never pulled an all nighter, but I'm like, when you're working with other people, I had to do that a lot. I'm like, because you know, people do everything last minute, they used to piss me off. But I'm a night person, right? I'm like, I'm not a day person. So when that stuff happened, I was like, a piece of cake for me. It just makes me wonder, I'm like, did she never do group work? um, yeah, I want to read it. Like, I don't have enough things to read. I had to read law stuff, Bible stuff, green book stuff. I can add your thesis to that list, right? Okay, I'm gonna get into the Bible stuff now. Okay, I'm gonna talk back to the girls when I'm done with this. Okay, where do I even start? What did I tell you guys last? I was gonna go see the church. We can start from that point. Okay, let's get my ugly ass drawing skills back into play. I'm gonna draw you guys a map. Okay. Let's use triangles to denote the churches, because I don't know how to. So you guys know that I read with cards, right? And how people categorize that as witchcraft and whatever the fuck bullshit because them never know anything. They don't like to fear, right? They like to spread fear. So I don't remember when, right? But it was recently this year. I started using the cards and I'm like reading God's energy with it, right? Cause like, I don't know. I just ran out of people to read. And there were some like I don't remember why or how it came up. I just remember a good couple of times I read him with the cards just to see, because a lot of people, like Trev for instance, doesn't think God exists or something like that. I don't remember, but there's some people like that, right? Where they're like, there's no such thing. But you guys know when I read, I pick up on the temperament of the person, right? Like I can tell you guys if you're sleepy, if you're angry, like what in the fuck, or something's wrong, right? That's why I don't like. For me, it was really off-putting when I read Trev that time, and I'm like, something's wrong, and I didn't know, because usually when I read him, his energy's never that fucked, right? So for whatever reason, I decided to start reading I can't even fucking talk. I decided to start reading God with the cards, right? Just to see, I'm like, if I pick up a temperament, and I did. So I started reading it a couple times. I was like, what? You guys know I've seen him in my sleep because I told you this already, right? But I didn't tell you this part of like how it fucking got to there. But I know starting point, I was reading. I don't remember how it came up, but I was reading him with the cards, which is really weird because I don't know if people do that. I'm like, somehow it came up. Because sometimes like I'll read. I told you guys when I started, I read celebs first, right? Because I'm like nosy as heck. I'm like, I don't trust any of the bullshit you see on the news sites. Got bored of that. Then I started reading people near me, but that gets scary, right? People always feel safe around me because I know what's coming up. Then I told you guys most of the time I read when I'm not sure how something's gonna go, right? Like if I'm nervous and I know I can change the outcome of something is when I read, right? Like I don't read for negative intention, right? I read to see how I can make someone's day better. So like I don't know, because people are gonna say, Lisa, you shouldn't be using them at all. But I'm like, it's at the end of the day, it's a tool. If you use it wrong, that's your fucking fault. I have the choice of how I'm gonna use it. So because I use it in a way to brighten people's day and make it better, or just to like, because I can tell when something's wrong, right? And how to like take away some of that pain. Um, that's usually what I read for, right? Unless like the other reason too is when I'm asleep and I wake up and I see something, it's nice to have something physical to use too, to confirm or not what I saw in my sleep, right? Like for example with Paris, sorry, I'm gonna use you as an example. Had that dream where it's like reach out to her. The first thing I did, because I'm like, that's fucking batshit crazy, is I reached for my cards because I'm like, is this gonna negatively affect her? Right? That's the first thing that came to mind when I used it, because I'm like, I don't wanna negatively impact her life in any way. Right? I'm like, if I can avoid that, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay? So somehow, sometimes too, when I read cards, I'll read for like, because Flowers isn't here. He said he's coming back, but anyways, sometimes like I don't know, I'd read Flowers, right? I don't read Basket. I'm like, I probably should, but I like reading Flowers because it's like for me it's like fun. Like I don't know how to explain. Cause I told you Flowers is that thing where it's like I don't know how to explain. It's like he'll do things to try and scare me, like he's a really scary type ghost, but I'm like, I know he's not. Like he just to poke fun. It's fun to read him, right? But anyways, because he'll make me draw cards that's gonna freak me out, right? But anyways, um because Flowers isn't here, I don't know, whatever reason I felt like reading God. And then I'm like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, I'm picking up on something. So I'm like, okay, I got chills now. I'm like, what is going on? Then I remember after that, Selena gave me that Bible verse, right? I looked into all the Inhuman stuff because I'm like, I picked up on that too. And I was like, went through that bullshit, right? I recorded those videos for that. Then I told you guys about the dreams I had with him here because he kept coming here and I was like, what in the fuck? I haven't seen him since my birthday, right? I know he's here nearby. He told me he was here last video. Oh, I'm gonna get to that. He called me stupid. I was like, what the fuck? Because I couldn't put into words what I wanted to explain last time. I'm like, why didn't you tell me how to explain it? And he said the only way I'm gonna be able to prove his existence is by saying exactly what he was telling me. And I was like, oh my fucking god. I told you he's really fucking annoying. Oh man. I read him through the cards, I have all those dreams, and I'm telling you guys about this, right? And then, anyways, he was here when I recorded the last video, but I can't feel it when he's here, even though I know he's there. I didn't understand why he was there, right? So flowers, like, because I had a dream of flowers the other night. Not last night or like yesterday because my head's been hurting, right? Flowers told me he's like, because he's been gone for so long, he said he didn't want to leave me with anyone else because he's very possessive, right? I'm like, why didn't you just send another guardian angel here so I don't feel so much fucking pain? He said he didn't trust anybody and he said he left God there because I told you them too close. And I'm like, I'm comfortable talking to you. I'm not comfortable, like, I know he know everything, but I still don't feel I don't feel right having him there. Oh my gosh. So I'm like complaining to Flowers. I'm like, how do you expect me to get all chummy with God when you're fucking that far away? Anyways, he said he's coming back soon. Anyways, he told me he didn't trust me leaving me in anyone else's care except for God's. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is why. I'm like, okay, that explains why he's here. Anyways, okay, I gotta tell you that dream I had right after I recorded that video. And then, fuck, I just lost my train of thought. I need to hold the cards. When I read God, like, there's certain cards that pop up that I know it's him, right? Like, if you guys read me, you know there's certain things that show up. Yeah, I don't know what reason. I just started reading him through this. Oh, I remember. So, I told you guys it was driving me nuts and I had to go get a deck. And how all the spirits were all, like, panicking and they came to see me the first week or so when I was here. This is like getting a new phone, right? Imagine, like, you guys hear from me all the time from the same number and then suddenly you hear me from another number and you're like, what the fuck happened to the old number, right? That's how it feels when I'm using this now. It feels like using a new phone, right? Because all the decks I use are back at the house and I was like, fuck. And I can't read. I'm not a tarot reader, so I'm not really good at reading with this. Because again, this is like, if we're going back to the fallen angel story, I'm like, this is stuff that would relate to them at that point in time. Like, I need more modern stuff to use. Anyways, when I read God, there's certain cards that come up and I'm like, it doesn't come up in a combination from anyone else, right? So I know there's something there. And I've talked to him and he's annoying. Now when I'm looking for the cards, they're not going to show up. Like, what the fuck? There's three of these three. The star cards one, and I don't know why these cards pop up, but I see them. Star card. I don't know if I could show that. Am I going to get censored because she's naked in the card? But anyways, star card is the healing card. You know what he told me too? He's such a fucking weirdo. He said, because he sees everything, right? Like, he's trying to make a joke like Flowers, but I'm like, it's coming off really creepy because he said, I like watching you, because I remember I told you I was there, like, trying to sleep. It came off as, like, I like watching you sleep type of thing, but it's like, I like watching you. I was like, that's so fucking weird. He also said he likes collecting our tears. I was like, you can't tell people that, bro. That's really fucking creepy. He was telling me things, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so fucking off-putting. Ugh. Okay, where are the other cards? I know when I see them. Four of Pentacles comes up a lot too. That's the second one. Where's the other one? Oh, I told him the other day, I'm like, I can't sleep. You know what he told me to do? He told me to read the Bible. And I couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, that's so true. When you read it, it's so... I don't know why it's exhausting, but you feel tired instantly. I'm like, it reminds me when I used to read my school textbooks, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. As soon as I did that, I fell asleep. I was like, oh, brilliant. Someone had a good idea. If you guys can't sleep and you have insomnia, go read the Bible. Because that's what he told me to do. Fuck, why can't I... I can't remember what the other card is now. It was a Cups card. I just don't remember which one. Anyways. One of the things I asked him afterwards, I was like, should I be using this? Because if you go back to the Fallen Angel story, they taught us things we weren't supposed to know yet, right? It's like teaching going back to that example of you teaching a 3-year-old mortgage. It's like they're not supposed to know that at 3. You're supposed to learn mortgage when you're like in your mid to late adult years, right? So it's like, technically I know, like, we know things that we shouldn't know, right? So first thing I asked him when I was reading through this, I'm like, should I be using this? Or like, does it upset you if I use, I was reading like around those lines. He told me, I prefer you didn't use it. But I'm like, I was telling him, I'm like, but you know that I'm not going to stop using it, right? Because I'm like, I like having something physical. This makes me feel less fucking crazy when I can see it. Yeah, so he told me, I'm like, he didn't want me to use cards, but I'm like, I'm not going to stop. So I don't know if that's going to send me straight to hell, but we'll see. But I know for sure the Star card and the Four of Cups card shows up. There's another Cups card, but I can't remember which one. You guys following me still? Yeah, so anyways, shouldn't be using cards, but it's okay because I'm not using it wrong, right? They tell you you're not supposed to do that point blank because at least one person's gonna fucking use it wrong. Anyways. I don't want to trigger anybody, right? So if any, like, the reason why I'm coming here to talk about this, I'm like, it coming up at this point in time, so it's important for some reason. And we're having an open discussion, right? Whatever, because I don't fucking know everything. I'm just telling you guys my experience, what's going on, how you guys help me fill in the blanks, and I'm trying to understand what the fuck's going on here. Right? Because I don't know how to put into words, but like the more you try to know, the less you know type of thing. I don't know how to... Because some of you are sitting there watching me and they're like, Lisa, how are you this smart? But I'm like, from my perspective, right? Because you guys are looking at me like this. From my perspective, I know for a fact there's people smarter than me that are here, and they don't even think they're that smart, right? So I'm like, it's not a question of intelligence, it's just having an open conversation about this, right? This is what I want to talk about with whoever is willing to hear me out, right? And see where we're going from here, because some people can like back this up with actual research, and then you got people like me that have the experience where it's like somehow you know there's overlap, right? So those of you that are willing to hear me out and like have a discussion, that's what we're doing today. So I've said previously that I'm not a religious person, right? So from my point of view, because for me this is weird now, right? I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to law stuff because I'm like, these things overlap, okay? For me, it's weird because I'm like, I know God's there, but I'm like, it never came up to a point where he had to physically stand in front of me, talk to me, and annoy the fuck out of me. Because sometimes he'll, like, I've had dreams where he's like there sometimes. I'm like, I don't know why he's there. I'm like, he's just here to chill. In my head, he's just there to chill. I'm like, why else are you here? Right? Because it's not our job to understand what's going on, right? According to the people that tell you to read the Bible, like, it's not to understand, it's just to accept, right? But I'm like, this is what I want to talk about now. Because there's overlap between all the spiritual stuff that I do. This is why I bring up the cards first. And all the logical stuff that I deal with, right? Which is law stuff, right? Because people are going to look at me crazy because they're like, Lisa, how could you do both at the same time? And I'm like, if I don't, right? Like, it's like, say this is my scope of knowledge. It's like me saying I'm so smart, but then I'm missing like this whole section of knowledge. You know what I mean? Right? You'd have to be stupid to say that. So for me, I'm like, okay, like I have experience dealing with this, and this, right? And it's only limited, and I don't have the rest of it. Like I need the rest from you guys. Uh, I don't know if this is making sense. I'm just talking as quickly as I can. An hour's already gone by. Okay, so coming from my experience, because according to the Bible, you're supposed to talk about your experience, right? So this is where we're going to start from. And my map that I just drew, okay? Because there's one solid example I can think of where I'm like, yeah, I know that was God, right? But I'm like, there's been several instances in my life where I'm like, I know God was listening and did something, but I'm like, I never saw him or ever like, I feel like really bad now thinking about him. Like I don't remember if I ever expressed gratitude towards him at those points in time, but I'm like, there's no other way to describe it other than God was the one that helped me, right? Um, okay, so if you're looking from my perspective now, there were instances where things happened where I'm like, God had to have been there to like pull my ass out or whatever the fuck I was in. Um, but I never prayed or I never read the Bible. Like that's not something like our background, right? Hindu people, West Indian people tend to be Hindu, right? So when I was young growing up, every time there was like a church thing, I don't know what it is in English, right? I just know all the weird words when I hear it. Like I know when the thing's done, they say swaha and done, right? So I know that's when it's over. And I also know when those things would be going on, I'd feel really drowsy, right? And I'd always be like passing out. And the old people would always end up yelling at me. They're like, oh, because they would call me a demon. They're like, oh, the demon passed out or whatever, right? um, so I never liked church stuff when I was younger, right? Because I'm like, first off, it's not in English, right? I don't know what language you're speaking. So I'm like, I'm not, it's so stupid. Imagine someone giving you a contract in another language and they tell you to sign it, right? And you don't go over anything. Like, you have to be fucking stupid, right? And this is how people treat religion, which is what pisses me off. So when I was young, I'm like, okay, I see people, they're like, just follow what everyone else is doing, right? But I never liked that mentality at all. Because I'm like, if everybody's doing the same fucking shit, something's wrong. Something ain't right there, right? Right? It's the mentality of if everyone's gonna jump off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? And I'm like, that depends on why they're jumping off the bridge. Why the fuck would I jump off? You know what I mean? Like it's that train of logic. That's what throws me off. Um, it's okay. So we're in like I'm a child right now, right? And we're in that religious space, and they're like, just follow what everyone else is doing, right? Like there's no everyone's trying to be the same type of thing. That always irritated me too. That's why when I see you guys and I bring stuff up, I'm like I bring up stuff that's unique to you guys because I know, like for example, if I wanna If I need someone that's an expert in polish, I'm gonna go to Christine first. And if Christine's not there, I go to the next person. I'm not gonna say, oh, only Christine's the only one I go to for polish, right? Because sometimes she's not gonna be there. It's like, who's the next person, right? Um, but people don't view it that way, which is what pisses me off. They're like, why would you go to someone else? And I'm like, why wouldn't you go to someone else? They have a different set of experience about the same shit, right? It's like, for me, it's like, okay, say, I don't want to compare people to a fruit, but I'm like, this is the first thing that came to mind. Say, like, I'm gonna use apples as an example, even though I don't eat them, but I know Paris likes them. Say I'm craving apples, right? Um, some people are gonna say only eat, I don't know, for example, like gala apples. I don't know anything about apples, okay? I'm just using this as an example. Let's say people say you should only eat gala apples, right? In my head, I'm like, okay, then why do the other apples exist, like Granny Smith and stuff? Maybe I feel like eating a Granny Smith apple, right? Like in my head, that's what I'm comparing it to. Because you're basically saying all the other apples aren't as good as this apple. They need to live up to the standard of this apple, right? So when I'm looking at religion now and I'm like, they're basically telling people the way they are is wrong, I'm like, that pissed me off a lot too. I'm like, there's nothing wrong. It's like you're just a different apple for a different, you know what I mean? I'm like if we talk about music, for example, people say, oh, the oh, what do they say? The market is too saturated or whatever. But for me, I'm like, there's not enough. I hear it and I'm like, they seem like they're not competing with one. As soon as you guys realize you're not competing with one another, you're okay. Um, because some people are gonna say, oh, there's like 20 girl groups. Which one do I listen to? But I'm like, if you really think about it, they're all different in their own right. Right? So there's space and room for them to grow if they need to, right? No one's gonna be like, um, well, there might still be, I don't know, there might still be people that are like, this group is better than that group because, you know, back in the day they used to compete, right? And I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. I'm like, if this group's not active, because I listen to everybody, right? I'm like, if this group's not active right now, I'm gonna listen to the other one, right? While that one's resting, doing whatever, right? I don't know, I'm comparing religion to this, right? So I'm making these comparisons and I'm like, to me, this is what it feels like. When I listen to music, it's like, think about like a tool shed, right? And you need like a hammer, a screwdriver, a wrench, whatever, and everyone's trying to be a hammer. It's like, well, there's gonna be a point where I need something else and nobody else is behaving that. You know what I mean? Like to me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Everybody's trying to be the same thing, and I'm like, that's so stupid. If that's what I told you guys this before too. I'm like, if I could do everything myself, why the fuck do I need someone else there, right? So if everybody's the same, right? Why would we need someone else there? That always bothered me. So I'm like thinking back to when I'm a kid and I'm sitting in these religious fucking rooms, falling asleep because I'm like energy drained and I don't know what the fuck they're saying and I'm like, I fucking hate this. Because I don't remember ever hearing about the Bible, right? I'm like, okay. The only time that ever came up was when I was in uni, right? Because they would when they would talk about, they're like, what was the first book ever written, right? I'm like, I didn't know the answer to that. I was like, because these things are like foreign to me, right? So as a kid, I'm like, okay. I remember the most fucked up people will go to church, right? The people cheating on their wives, the people stealing, that type of thing. So I remember there's so much about this that I don't want to be here. And I remember like my dad never forced me to go. My grandfather was okay with it. And I felt really okay when I saw him because I hadn't seen him. A lot of fucking shit used to happen when we were younger. Hadn't seen him in between for so long. Then I went to go see him near when he did, right? But he was happy to see us. Um, that whole side of my dad's family, they're like fucking demons. They like to fucking drag you down. But anyways, my dad said the family. I don't want to talk ill of people that can't fucking come to defend themselves, but I'm telling you from my point of view what it was like. Okay, my dad said the family. Somebody see you do something and they want to drag you down because they don't want to. They don't want you to look like you're doing better than them, right? On my mom's side of the family, um, everybody's always trying to one up each other, right? So you don't want to look like the poor one, right? Where that's like my position. I'm like, I don't care for the designer clothes, bags, house, that kind of thing. You have to keep keeping up with that. And I'm like, I didn't like I have two spectrums. I'm like, I don't fucking like them. So for the most part, I grew up without religion, except for like on TV. Sometimes my mom, because I know she would, my on my okay, my dad's side they're like Hindu. On my mom's side they're Hindu and Christian, right? So my grandmother married my grandfather, who had two kids already, but his first wife died, and he was a Christian, right? So she never changed her religion. Like she's dead ass, like the dietary stuff. She's like she doesn't eat certain things. She prays at certain times, that kind of thing. I'm like, I hate that so much. Keep in mind too, when I was a kid, I would see more dead people than living people in the rooms, right? I still have candles with me. I kind of want to burn them because I find when you burn candles, spirits like to draw to that a lot, right? Um, I still have a few. I kind of want to light them, but not now. When it gets dark, I'll do it later. Um, I don't know. It's like for me, it's nice. It's not like inviting something terrible. It's like I can't remember if I told you guys this, but when I met older brother when I was like a little kid, cause we used to live in the basement first, then we lived in the house. Now I'm here now, right? So I'm like that whole first portion of my life.